And now we have Stephen Gray, Assistant Professor of Genome Dynamics, to talk about our biochemistry course, what we teach, and the employability opportunities that come with a biochemistry degree. And also in the studio, we have Scarlett, who is a fourth year studying biochemistry. Thank you to you both for coming along. Stephen, we'll start with you. What is it that made you want to pursue a career in biochemistry?
So for me, it was a very personal story. My nan died when she was 55 of cancer, and I really, at that point, I wanted to understand why, what had actually happened. Not necessarily the treatment, but trying to understand the biology behind that. And that led me to taking biology at A-level. And then I just kept doing what I enjoyed, really. I just went from biology at A-level to then biochemistry for a degree. And just followed my passions, really, and that led me to where I am now, teaching on the biochemistry degree.
So it's an area where, you know, a rapid growth and development. So what is happening in biochemistry at the moment that's exciting you?
Yeah, I mean, we're entering a really exciting, expansive situation at the moment where we've had a real development of new technologies in biochemistry, such as gene editing, where now those are advancing to enable us to look at different tools that we can use. We can start to identify new ways of generating drugs, new ways of looking and investigating how we might treat diseases. And in addition to that, we're also able to now generate molecules that don't exist in nature to enable us to do experiments that wouldn't necessarily happen, but we can understand more about just how we live and how we exist as organisms on this planet.
And Scarlett, for you, what is it about biochemistry at Nottingham that really appealed to you?
Well, I'm quite local here anyway, and I just really, I enjoyed biology at A-level as well as chemistry. And I've always been interested in how things work. And coming to Nottingham and looking at all the prospectuses and everything they've got on offer, it's such a broad degree, and you can really lean into what actually interests you. I'm really interested in immunology and the immune system and how that works, because, again, a personal story, one of my grandparents had quite a rare immunological disorder to do like neurodegeneration, etc. And I've been able to actually look into that through some of the modules that we've got on offer here.
And while you've been here, what's been the most interesting thing that you've studied?
I think the most interesting thing I've been able to learn about is the actual biochemistry of cancer. We've literally looked at how the cells can transform and how they migrate, how they are able to leave and form metastasis at distant sites, and sort of why it happens as well.
I think Scarlett's already told us a lot about, you know, studying at Nottingham, but for prospective students, you know, what would you say about this course? Why do you think it stands out?
So whilst we've touched upon lots of things which are kind of seem like it's cancer-based, there's a huge broad spectrum of modules that we offer and opportunities for students to really follow the things that they enjoy and there's passion. So you understand the basics of life through some of our core fundamental modules. And then you're able to really delve into the things that interest you the most. So in our final year options, it really enables you to develop the degree that you want in the flavour that you want, focusing on those areas that really interest you. So we touch upon new developments in gene technologies and genetic engineering. We talk about the ways in which the cell exists and migrates and divides. We touch upon how these play a role in disease outcomes, neurological diseases, different diseases of the body. And these all feed into kind of the projects as well that we offer in the third and fourth years of degrees, which can be really important and help us to distinguish what is special about the University of Nottingham. Most of our faculty are based within the Queen's Medical Centre, within the hospital, with good clinical links. And so a lot of our project and the work that we do is linked to translational clinical developments that we're focused on.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the facilities? You mentioned a bit there.
Sure. So there's some of these are multidisciplinary laboratories that we have that the students come in and they do their project work within. But we also have specialised labs which different groups have. So there's some of our faculty focus on different imaging of particular molecules. So they have MRI imaging facilities and capabilities within their labs that students can go and work in if they do a project with them during their degree.
And just to you, Scarlett, have you thought about what you're going to do when you graduate?
Yeah, I think with the projects, because both of mine are going to be very lab-based. I did one last year and I'm currently going to be studying one this year. I want to do a PhD. Being able to experience the labs within the projects and sort of how sort of collaborative the work is and how interested everybody else can be in the work, it's just really exciting. I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
And Stephen, are there other jobs available? You know, what are some of the career paths that people go into from this subject?
Absolutely. So I think studying biochemistry really gives you the opportunity to not only go into specialist biochemical related jobs, but it also opens up the field for you to be able to do more conventional jobs. So we have a number of different graduates that go on and do, not only do they go into, say, for instance, a scientist in training programme within the NHS, and they go into lab technician roles or further education, but they also go on and develop into different roles that might be related to patent law, where they're using their scientific background for that, or it might be in relation to scientific writing for journal editing and so forth. And we also have a number of students now which are working and developing with, as the modules are, into a more bioinformatic related field. So there's lots of a broad spectrum that's available to our students, as well as those real specialised skills that we provide in order to enter the biochemical related roles.
And finally, something I think both of you will be able to answer. To somebody watching this who's thinking about studying this course, what advice would you give them? If we start with you, Scarlett.
I would say it's what you put into your degree is really what you get out of it. You have to really immerse yourself in everything the university has to offer as a whole, not just within the course. Like, you have to go to all the events that maybe the societies are putting on, go attend all the other campus conferences that are available. Like, we are able to go to, what are they called? Is it the seminar series within the life sciences, where you invite outside researchers to come and talk about their work, even if it's not that related to what you're doing at the time. You're able to really get a flavour of like the scientific community as a whole, and just really immerse yourself in that.
Yeah, and I think we offer a great range of studying capabilities across biochemistry, and really students have the ability to pick and choose the things that really they enjoy, so they can build a degree that not only is something that they'll be successful at doing, but also that they're really going to enjoy and evolve into their own degree, which then they can use it to take further into the jobs that they might seek.
Thank you to you both. Gave me so much information there, but if you would like to find out more about biochemistry, you can do that on the website or by using the link in the schedule below.